bringing you news, politics, and whatever else tickles my fancy. Welcome to the Ho Ho Show, and I'm your host, Ho Ho. Welcome to the first In the Attic on the Ho Ho Show. That's where I'm at this time. This is the first episode that is being done on the home studio. I've been working for the past 2 days trying to get this stinking thing to actually work properly the way that I'm wanting it to. And, it's a little bit of a, I guess you can say, a pain in the butt. I'm trying to keep this one a little bit more, PG, if you will. But, and it's not so much the Spreaker app that I'm having issues with. It is the Pro Tools First, which is, the mixer software, whatever you want to call it, for the, for the Focusrite interface that I got. So that's pretty much what my problem is on this. And, I have one more try to really get this thing figured out. But, truth be told, even without using that, I think it does sound, it does still sound pretty darn good. So I am liking it either way I look at it. And considering this is, because of my excitement on the tech stuff that I got, and getting my home studio up and going, this is very much going to be a tech-based podcast. There's a couple things in here that I think is absolutely amazing that I have seen in the news, and I really want to discuss that. But before I get to those, there's a couple other stories that I really did see, and this one isn't as well. Okay, it's kind of tech-related, but it's kind of not tech-related, you know what I mean? So in this one, and this is from Science Alert, headline, scientists just added a shocking 20 new branches to the tree of life. All right, and that's just pretty freaking cool if you ask me. They identified from genomes 8,000 different microorganisms that they sampled, from a sample that they took out of a field. So pretty stinking cool. And with this, they were able to add from these 8,000, 20 completely new branches in the microscopic tree of life. So, that's just one of them things that, especially in today's day and age where you've got, just who would have thought here in, 2017 that we would be finding new life on this planet. So, I think that is just absolutely freaking cool. I really do. And, another part of this, and, this is more artistic, I guess, than anything else, but it's still because of our ability with, to see microorganisms now, that some of the pictures, if you really want to see some really awesome looking, amazing things, I would really invite you to look at, just different pictures from, microorganisms, just different things that they've done with plants and bacteria and all that other kind of good stuff. There really is some, just amazing pictures that they've done. And another story that I've seen, now this isn't tech-related in any way, shape, or, well, okay, I take that back. No, they're not. They're not tech-related stories at all, actually. Although both of them do revolve around the same person. This one is something that I read from, drum roll please, as soon as the page comes up. Looks like page 6, Jamie Lee Curtis returning for a Halloween. Well, this one says finale. The other headline that I read said reboot, which is supposed to be the same stinking headline. But, at any rate, in all honesty, with the Halloween movies, they really, really lost me. Whenever they did, I think, Resurrection, the one that they did after H2O. And, that's the one where they lost me. That's the one where they totally ticked me off, and it's like, really? Especially considering Halloween H2O was an hour long, and the only reason why they did that movie was just to kill him off. I mean, granted, I mean, like, I liked the movie. I mean, it was very well done. It was very well produced. You know, and that one guy, LL Cool J, you know, again, true to his Hollywood word, the man has yet to die or be a bad guy on any one of his movies. A little bit of movie trivia there for you. Go ahead and feel free to look at every single movie he's been in. He's never died, unlike that Stark guy. And he has, you know, never been a bad guy. So, you know, it's just one of the things I thought was neat. Movie trivia. There you go. The other one that I seen that was pretty stinking cool, James Cameron's True Lies is being turned into a TV show. Oh, yeah, you heard me right. And now, honestly, I thought that show was absolutely amazing. How they did that. I mean, it's definitely one of, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger's and Jamie Lee Curtis's best movies. I love that one. Amazing balance between, you know, comedy and action. I mean, just a perfect balance. I mean, you got, you know, you got good special effects in it. You got a good storyline. And that's the thing. I mean, sometimes whenever you're talking about good special effects, they, you know, sometimes they have a tendency to, you know, really take away from the plot and subplot and character development and all that other kind of shit. And this one, personally, I think they did a pretty good job on all of them. So, I'm going to go ahead and take a small break right here. And when I get back, we're going to talk some tech. And I've got all kinds of tech to talk about. Very exciting stuff out there coming, guys. Guys, well, the next few stories that I got for you, every single one of these, and of course, because I was on the movie kick just a little while ago, every one of these next few stories are, you know, they are movie related. Okay, whether it be, well, one way, shape, or form, they're all movie related. All right, so the first one I want to get to, this one is, I mean, it's a definite breakthrough in science. Truly is very amazing stuff. And by the way, all the stories that I get, I mean, I use an app on my cell phone called Flipboard, which is my one-stop news hub for anything, everything, and all things that is news. I absolutely love it. It's a very good app, highly customizable. I highly recommend it. And no, I do not get paid for saying that. But headline: a Stanford neurosurgeon is working to create wireless cyborg eyes for the blind. That is absolutely amazing. My Hollywood movie link for this goes back to none other than a character that we all know and love, somebody who should be honored on Black History Month because of this man's amazingness, and that is Geordi LaForge, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Oh, yeah. See, in the beginning of Star Trek, you know, he had that visor that he wore. In time, they gave him an upgrade, and they did the same thing with his eyes. And that looks pretty darn close to what this is. this type of science, I mean, it again, this kind of stuff is very much over my head. But it looks like it's able to give you 20/20 vision. I'm not exactly sure, what type of, yeah, well, okay, I guess filter or whatever, if it's going to be more or less a true, like how we see things, or if it's going to be, something as far as like light spectrum, something like what Predator uses, with heat signature or different, filter, that type of stuff. I have absolutely no idea how they plan on doing it. But either way you look at it, guys, this is amazing. A cure, if you want to call it that, a cure for blindness. I mean, come on, guys, it doesn't get much better than that. That is awesome stuff right there. The next one, let's see, do I want to go into that one? Well, let's see here. Well, yeah, why not? Let's do that one. All right, so this one is something that after reading it, and again, I mean, I didn't read the headline in here for the news. I more or less read the headline in here because of, its tie to Hollywood. Truth be told, that's the only thing that really caught my attention on this. So the headline from the future, futurism, didn't come from the future. This thing was written a while ago. Well, maybe not a long while ago. Anyway, headline: we may soon charge devices by harnessing electricity from our bloodstream. And of course, I am referring to the movie none other than the Keanu Reeves amazing. And of course, there's Lawrence Fishburne and Trinity and all them other people too. But I'm referring to The Matrix. The movie, again, very good movie. It was a pioneer in, the special effects area, bullet filming, or bullet photography, I guess, maybe. Whatever. But yeah, inner space hydropower is, one of the sub-headlines in here. And I mean, again, this isn't necessarily something that I really read, but, again, implications, pretty stinking cool, So, there we go. There's that one. Now, the next story. Which one do I want to go to next? Well, let's see here. Let's do one of my more... Yeah, I'll refer back to that one later. All right, I'll go back to that one and that one later. Let's go to... Where did it go? Well, I really wish these things kind of, did this in more of an order for me. I really do. All right, so these next two is, pretty much play on each other, if you want to call it that. And the first one is headline, and this too comes from Futurism. A new computer chip can store quantum information in the form of light. Oh yeah, I think no. This is still movie related. Stores it into the form of light, and this is one of them things. And anyway, I started to read this article because it really was very, very intriguing. But I started to get into this, and I was like, ugh, I couldn't keep up. It was speaking way over my head. I mean, I'm not a complete idiot, but when it comes to this kind of stuff, I very much admit I'm pretty ignorant. So, way over my head. But this stuff is amazing, and the movie reference for this was Superman. That's right, Superman, 1978. Christopher Reeves, amazing. And in part of what, a couple of the, just information that I've looked into as far as with, storing information is it's the fallacy of our standard, data saving forms that we have right now. Right now we've got, flash drives, it corrupts over time, and it's, it's not good for long-term data storage. And truth be told, the same thing goes for a hard drive, and the same thing even goes really for DVDs. And, pretty much with the research that I was looking into on it. And it was talking, again, my numbers could be a little bit off on this, but, it's probably something pretty close. But it's about 5 years is what the life expectancy is on a lot of these different storage devices. So, for more of a long-term storage, needs, you need to go somewhere other than a typical storage device, because if it's not accessed, because accessing a drive like that and accessing thumb drives, flash drives, whatever the case may be, and hard drives, accessing them, a lot of the times it'll, fix the corruption as it's coming, especially if it's something that you access the file and then resave it. Because, that's stuff that, programs nowadays, they automatically do. But, let's say it's a hard drive that you just unplug and then you put it on a shelf for a while. It's not plugged in and you don't access it. It doesn't have a chance to fix anything. It will start to corrupt in roughly 5 years. That's just more or less what the life expectancy of these things are, and so, that's one of them things that really intrigued me with this story, is because of its implications for long-term storage device. And the other headline that I read, and this is based off of the exact same thing, scientists just successfully stored quantum information 10,000 times longer than ever before. And, if it's 1 millisecond, 10,000 times longer than that is 10,000 milliseconds. So, I don't know what their baseline for that on the study was, but, who cares? That's still pretty awesome. 10,000 times longer than before. So, again, the implications are just absolutely amazing. And, of course, one of the things of why this reminded me of Superman is because, you think back to Superman, it's the crystals. And that's how every single thing, the video thing that he was doing, the hologram on the screen, everything was done by crystal. And, it just makes you wonder, how far away are we to something like that? And how long-term would using crystal be as a means by which to save data? That's just cool. Cool stuff. And, all right, let's see here. Let's go to another one, and then we will take a small break. And, this again, speaking of Superman and Christopher Reeves, that is where this one ties into. So, headline, and again, this is from Futurism. There's a $100 million plan to make a synthetic spinal cord to end paralysis. That is absolutely amazing. And when you really stop and think about it, with spinal cord injuries, it's one of the things that severs the spinal cord. It severs a connection. And the only thing that the spinal cord does is it, transfers neurological impulses from one place to another. It's energy. It's electricity. That's all it is. It's biological, but when you, and I put it like this because, this is an issue that, with trying to hook up and get a home studio done. I used to use a Linux operating system, called Ubuntu, which, I'm just not intelligent enough to get a lot of different patches work in order to be able to use Windows programs on a Linux operating system. That's, for some people it may be easy. For me, it really wasn't. So I was forced to switch and go back to Windows. And I tell you that to tell you this. It is a communications problem. That's all it is. It's a compatibility issue is all it is. So once we figure out how to make our synthetic spinal cord, synthetic nerves, synthetic whatever, whenever we figure out, and especially when we're talking with the use of nanotechnology, to be able to really hook these little bitty mini nanometers as far as in size goes. It's actually amazing how small they've made these nanobots. Yeah, them things too. It's amazing how small them stinking things are. And they're small. And but whenever we get that down to that level and be able to, reattach that stuff, it's again the it wow, you know, it really is. It's truly wow. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break here, and when I return, we're going to be talking about another movie, absolutely amazing. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes. All right, guys, I am back again. Woohoo! All right, well, the next one that I was wanting to talk to you guys about, and let me back out of that. I already discussed that. And where did you run off to? Well, this one was dealing with prosthetics, and the movie. And I've actually been looking for this for a little while now. And, I found it once, and I could have swore I saved it because, it really was. This one was intriguing. I wanted to read up on this, and I still want to read up on this to really get more information on it. Because, it really is. It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And is what this was about was, of course, prosthetics. And the movie associated with this one is Star Wars, because if you remember in the original series of 4, 5, and 6, you had Darth Vader, and Darth Vader had a prosthetic limb. Well, he had a lot more than one prosthetic limb, but you come to find out later in the first series with Anakin, whenever he's younger, he gets his arm cut off with the, somewhere in the forearm, and then Luke gets the same thing, kind of. Is that a little bit of foreshadowing? I think that's what they call that. So you had that going on, and nowadays you have, with prosthetics, and I mean, you started off just having a stump. There wasn't much more they did for you on that. In some way, shape, or form, depending on what was amputated. Then they'd give you an arm, and with a claw. I mean, it had limited functionality and mobility, but it was still limited. And then technology grew. Science had fun experimenting with things, and next thing you know, you had prosthetics that would actually move, somehow attach themselves into whether it was nerve endings or your muscles that were right there. I mean, I'm not exactly sure which one that they use, more or less your nerves or your muscles right there, but giving you more functionality that you can control just like you control your hand now. And I thought that was simply amazing right there, okay? Just how they've gone with, just computer science, computer technology in order to make a prosthetic to where, and even now with how it's done it with, 5 fingers, being able to completely move it as a prosthetic just as you would a normal hand, just like in, Star Wars. And one of the things the thing that I had read in this article, it was they added the sense of touch to a prosthetic. Oh yeah, you guys heard me right. And the picture that I seen, it was a prosthetic hand, robotic hand, and it had, just these black, like touch pads on it, on, quite a few different sections of the hand itself. And it looked, it looked like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it wasn't out of a sci-fi movie. It was real. So, totally amazing. And, this thing, now granted, because I didn't really get into the article itself, and I can't wait to find this thing. I lost it. ADD struck me. Had it, ADD struck me, then I lost it. So it happens. But, I don't know exactly what type of, receptacles this thing has in it as far as what it is made to, give you sensory perception on. I have no idea. My assumption is that these pads are made to basically let you feel when it's touching something, then you can feel how hard you're touching something, so how much pressure you're putting onto it. That's what my assumption is. And, of course, I don't know how, if it's one of them things like a touchscreen type of thing, it can let you know, and more or less transmit more or less where exactly it's located at or what. I have no idea. And, of course, I don't know if it's going to have, like hot and cold receptacles into it. I really don't know. But either way, look at it. To add a touch sensation to a prosthetic limb. Are you kidding me? That is so amazing. It truly is. It really is amazing that the advancements that we have done, and that's the thing that it gets me. As far as technology goes, this is the greatest time. It really is. You have, self-driving cars. You have, robotic prosthetic limbs. You have just so many different advancements, space stations and telescopes and just, microscopic lenses. And it's amazing, the technological advances that we've made. And just think, we don't even know part of what they're working on in Silicon Valley and other places when it comes to just the different, medical advances of it. How many people know how small they've gotten with nanotechnology and what all they can do with nanotech? They're doing so many things with nanotechnology alone. They even have these things to where they are trying to get these things programmed in order to, basically inject these little bitty machines into you, and they are made with a, like they can inject you with a dye, a particular type of a dye, a radioactive dye, that bonds to, cancer cells. And they're programming these things, these nanomites, to go in there and just flat rage war on the cancer in your cells. And they're also designed in such a way that they will go dormant in your body to where, and they don't necessarily leave your body, but they're programmed that, once the threat is gone, the nanomites shut down. They go dormant. And then if something happens, the cancer comes back, they go back and attack him again, That's one of the things that they're working on with nanotechnology. That, again, to me, is amazing. A machine in your body. What's that machine called? It had Dennis Quaid in it, and I think not Tom Short. Oh, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids guy. But it had Dennis Quaid, and he was the I guess you'd call him the astronaut type of guy, but deep space, that's what it was called, or inner space, that's it. And again, amazing movie. Nanotechnology, that's more or less what that movie revolved around. I mean, take the aspect of it as the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids type of thing, which is more or less the same type of humor and comedy that they were talking about. They just put it inside the human body. But absolutely amazing concept, and that's what we have with nanomite technology, nanobots. It's amazing. What's out there. It is so totally cool. So, guys, I thank you very much for listening. Oh, yeah, I definitely made that a lot longer than what I intended to be. But, yeah, technology, guys. Technology is amazing. Have fun with it. Play with stuff. Don't be afraid to break it. Treat it like it's somebody else's. That's what I do. I mean, granted, all my stuff, mine, I bought it. I paid for it. The only thing I have in my possession right now that I'm using that wasn't bought and paid for by me was a gift. And even still, I love messing with stuff, especially technology. Well, guys, you got have a great day, and let me know what you think. Any other things you guys can think of on technology-wise, that'd be amazing. To go ahead and send me a message on that and just let me know. So until next time, peace and chicken grease, or whatever. Tomorrow, or I guess today, later on, and I can't give you a time on that, but we will be broadcasting live in the attic on the Ho Ho Show. And Sunday is going to be a very special guest with me. We're going to be talking about On Religion, Ho Ho's Way. That's just going to be a surprise. It's going to be an amazing episode. Please listen. I'll definitely be, letting people know about that one. So you all have a great one. Thank you much for joining me.